All right, the Supreme Court is back in session with some high-profile cases on the docket. Among them is a case against Google that could impact the laws that protect social media platforms from liability. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's tech editor, Dan Halley, to explain. Dan.
That's right, Brian. This is specifically about Section 230 and more specifically about the algorithmic recommendations that companies make. Now, to just give you a background, Section 230 is most of us are now experts in, essentially helps protect tech companies based from liability based on content that their users post and they moderate. So it's essentially a means to go ahead and cut off long litigation regarding the First Amendment rights of these companies and just say, yeah, this falls under Section 230. There's really no reason for this to be fought out in court. These companies have First Amendment rights to allow or not allow what content they have. But this in particular has to do with algorithmically generated content or algorithmically recommended content, rather. So the algorithms that send you videos on, say, YouTube or Facebook, things like that. That's what this has to do with specifically, and it relates to the terrorist attack in Paris years back where more than 100 people were killed, and it has to do with ISIS videos that were circulating on YouTube at the time. Now, the companies specifically say that they go and they try to take these kinds of items down. They work judiciously to do so, but this kind of case could really reshape the internet as we see it, especially if Section 230 is rewritten in any way. It's really the reason why we have sites like, the comment sections on, Yahoo Finance or Facebook or Twitter or, Yelp, things along those lines. Without that, we really wouldn't have anything as far as user-generated content online because, companies would then either not be allowed to have it on there because they would fear that people would put stuff up that they then can't moderate, or we would just have a free-for-all of any kind of content, and people just wouldn't want to visit those sites. Advertisers wouldn't want to advertise on them, and so they wouldn't really exist for much longer. So this really has huge implications for the internet as it stands, and we'll have to see how SCOTUS rules on this going forward.
What are we hearing from, if anything, from the other companies? I mean, have we had any of the other content companies file amicus briefs, for example, in support of Alphabet in this case? Or have they been sort of quietly watching as this is unfolding?
Yeah, I think since the Section 230 debate kind of came up, it's been circulating for quite a while, whether that's because people on the Democrat side say that there's not enough moderation of misinformation, or people on the Republican side say that there's a conservative bias or anti-conservative bias. This has come up quite frequently, and every time these companies go out and say, look, this is the reason why the internet exists as it does, and any kind of change would dramatically alter that. So, we're going to continue to see that. And, there's folks who are pro-free speech who say that if we do see Section 230 changed or fall entirely, then free speech on the internet would disappear as we know it. So this, again, will have huge implications for not just how these companies use the internet, but how you and I use the internet. If, companies then can't host our content, we won't be able to post stuff. And again, if they do decide that they want to host content, they may be able to be forced to allow everything up, and then we wouldn't want our stuff appearing next to some of the more unseemly items that may show up on the internet. So, this is really, I think, something that's going to be almost, foundational when it comes to the ruling.
All right, some serious considerations as we move forward within this review and any type of proceeding for Section 230 here. Dan, appreciate the breakdown. Thanks.